It was National Standout Day for Karen Read all over the United States. Her supporters were out demonstrating and trying to show people their support. In this episode, why did they do it?
We're standing out here for justice. We're standing out here so we can support a factually innocent woman. And we're standing out here because Karen Read could be any of us.
I'm here to support Karen Read and to get justice for John O'Keefe.
I grew up in Stoughton, right next to Canton, and there's been a lot of corruption for years.
To bring awareness and make sure everyone knows that Karen Read is factually innocent and spread the positive love and get her free, because what they're doing to her is disgusting.
I don't understand how Trooper Guarino missed 32,000 text messages on top of all of Jennifer McCabe's text messages, all of the butt dials, all of the Google searches. It's clear that there's a problem going on.
Now, when you say that during the trial, Trooper Guarino testified, if I remember correctly, that he didn't find any text messages on Jen McCabe's phone. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I don't think Trooper Guarino could find his head if you pulled it out of his ass spot.
I hate to ask this question, but I'm going to ask anyhow. You're a woman. What did you hear? What did you think when you heard Michael Proctor's testimony?
Absolutely disgusting. The fact that it was on his personal cell phone talking about cases, I mean, it just shows the standard, not all, that the bad ones do the bad things and they take it as far as they can, and it's just absolutely disgusting and irreprehensible.
He's disgusting. It's just that ain't the way you're supposed to be serving us.
It affects all of us. We're all Karen. We could all be Karen. We have, I think it's like 15 states. We have Spain also is standing out today, Wales, Australia. So people are outraged.
Do you think there will be a second trial?
There shouldn't be. I don't think the district's attorney's office will drop it, but I think they're going to be forced to. Half of the police officers and troopers are on suspension because of this, and it's only becoming more and more out there. There's so much corruption going on, and it's absolutely being hidden, and it's a crying shame.
Do you think the case will ever reach a second trial?
I personally don't think it's going to, but we'll see.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I just think that there's just too much that's been exposed at this point. And with the Sandra Birchmore case, I think that kind of is going to start kicking off some positive things that have affected negative things. So,
do you think the case will be tried a second time?
I hope not. They do everything they can to try and drain her and to put her through the process. But I mean, in a perfect world, I hope the feds would step in. But like I said, nothing about this case is perfect.
What do you think about the fact that a bunch of jurors came out afterwards, not in the courtroom, and contacted the attorneys and said it was unanimous on second-degree murder and one other count? What was your response when you heard that?
I mean, it shows you right there the way the defense handled it as opposed to the way the Commonwealth pushed it back and pushed it back and pushed it back and didn't want to hear them, where the defense entertained it and listened to what they had to say. So that shows right there, I mean, the different sides of this case.
What is the number one reason why you think that justice was miscarried in this case?
Because John O'Keefe was not hit by that SUV. Ask the crash daddies. You can't outsmart the science. It was physics and mathematics, and the injuries just don't match. And I think it's an absolute abomination what they've done to her.
What do you think the biggest piece of evidence is that supports your position?
The car and John O'Keefe, his body. There is no way that he was struck by that vehicle. And it's obvious what happened. And it's time that it needs to end now. Walking up Farwell was a good start, but now we have a lot more of this Mass State Police, a lot more of the Canton Police Department, especially the Attorney General's office. They all need to go too. Farwell is a good one down, but there's a bunch to go.
What did you think when you saw that her vehicle was shown backwards in this alley port?
Oh my goodness, I noticed it after a little bit. I was looking at the Ford on the other side of the garage, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm just sitting there watching. I'm like, Proctor is in that corner. They are in that corner of her vehicle. And they were trying to lie to the jury. It was deceived. And I thought it was a crying shame that Auntie Bev Canoni allowed that to go on in her courtroom without addressing it at all. I thought it was absolutely disgusting. And that DA's office needs to be cleaned out completely.
What should happen in trial 2 if there is a trial 2?
She should be absolutely acquitted. They should let in more of the federal investigation information.
The primary point is that there is corruption, and that you need to stand up and speak out. And the only thing that you can do is to get it out there.
It's around the world. We started with a handful of people. Now look at it. It's around the world.
So Karen Read has a lot of support. I am right here in Salem, New Hampshire, just over the Massachusetts state border. But those borders mean nothing, apparently, because people all over the country, as those here in Salem, New Hampshire, are out demonstrating their support for Karen Read. And their top concerns, of course, were the way the first trial went, the fact that a number of jurors reached out after the verdict was read to call attorneys and say, hey, we acquitted Karen Read on 2 counts, including second-degree murder. And the other concern, seriously, is what will happen to this case? It's going up on appeal. The trial is scheduled for January 27th of 2025. So the people here are real concerned, and that's why they're out here on a beautiful day. They could be doing a lot of other things. That's why they're out here, to demonstrate their support for Karen Read. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Have a good one. I got to the end of this podcast and I started thinking, I know, dangerous, right? But this episode really has focused on the really passionate fans of Karen Read who came out all over the world. Now, I'm here in southern New Hampshire, no more than a mile from the Massachusetts border where all this happened, and it strikes me, okay, the Karen Read supporters are very passionate, and they're out in full force on a beautiful day when they could have been doing a ton of other things. But no, they decided to dedicate a large part of their day to these Karen Read standouts. But again, the reporter in me started thinking, let's be fair, let's be balanced, let's get both sides of the story. That's the big deal, or at least it used to be. So what I'm doing now is wrapping up this episode, which again focused on the Karen Read supporters. And I'm going to reach out to law enforcement if they want equal time, a fair chance to explain their side of the story. So if there's anyone in law enforcement, a legal department that does law enforcement, a district attorney's office, someone in an administrative office, one of the prosecutors, I'm happy to reach out to you if you'll reach out to me. We won't barge into your office and you don't have to come to us. We use Zoom or another platform called StreamYard. So we can do this. I'll give you equal time, however long this segment turns out to be. We'll give you that much time and ask you for your take on the case. And I'll ask the same questions and ask you if you want to add anything. So now, having said that, if you've made it this far in the episode, I truly hope that you will like and subscribe. Take care. Follow the case. We'll stay on it also. Whether you are in the grocery store, the gas station, or anywhere else, please remember to be kind to people. You don't know what they're going through. And the same goes for our comments section. We want you to comment, but be nice, be kind, be positive if you can. And thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one.